Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1836B, and today's date is April 8th, 2019, and the title of the episode is, First Half of 2019 was the Exoneration. The second half will bring people to justice. Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk about the threats nowadays in America, especially with the caravans bombarding the border, Venezuelans without electricity, numerous reports of human trafficking across the country, and the uncontrollable popular rise of socialism. The future of America is not promised, and either is your safety. One of the best things you can invest in for your home protection is a Patriot flashlight. And why not purchase one of the best flashlights on the market? Never waste batteries again. The flashlight is solar powered. It's powered by the sun. It has life-saving emergency strobe lights. You can charge your phone anywhere, anytime with a USB port. As long as you have sunlight, you can charge your phone. Other features include compass, rope, wire cutter, solar-powered recharging, high and low beam LED modes, glass-breaking hammer, all remaining lightweight and durable. Users have reported this flashlight to be an all-in-one lifesaver and wouldn't go anywhere without it. Patriot flashlight is the perfect gift for you and your family. Limited supplies last, and this is the very last chance you can get yours at a discount before they sell out. Take advantage now and give you and your family the gift of night protection. Purchase the best flashlight on the market and get 20% off when you use the code X20. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, the deep state, they are very, very desperate right now. They're going to the extreme. And what I mean by this is that they're going to change laws so they can go after Trump now. State lawmakers in New York, this is the New York Department of Taxation and Finance, they're going to try to change the laws so they can get to Trump's state tax return. This is coming out of the New York Times. So the bill that's being introduced would allow the release of tax filings for personal income taxes, corporation taxes, and real estate transfer taxes. So they're creating a law to get to someone's tax information that is completely private, with no crime, with nothing. This is just unbelievable. So what they're doing, since Nadler can't get to it, they're going to change the New York state laws. Remember, Trump's businesses, his real estate holdings, a lot of it is in New York right now. His corporations are in New York. So they're trying to go after Trump in this way. Now, if this bill passes, which it might not, this is going to change everything. But like I said before, I do believe that Trump is using this as a trap. And he wants to see how far these individuals will go. Really, just because you create a bill and you create a bill to go after someone's taxes doesn't mean it's legal. Just because you went ahead and did this. And this would open up many individuals to problems. And I'm talking about politicians. So they need to be very, very careful in what they do right now, because it might be setting a very dangerous precedent. Now, Representative Doug Collins, the top Republican on the Democrat-controlled House Judiciary Committee, wrote a scathing letter to the panel's chairman, and that is Representative Jerry Nadler, accusing him of putting Attorney General William Barr in an untenable but politically convenient situation. According to the letter, Barr would be forced to break the law if he complies with the subpoena for special counsel Robert Mueller's unredacted Russia report and its underlying evidence. If Barr doesn't, Nadler will label him as part of a cover-up. This is what Doug Collins is saying. Barr has vowed to release a version of Mueller's Russia report by the middle of April, with redactions made to grand jury and classified information. And this is required under federal law. So Barr is following the law. Jerry Nadler wants him to break the law. Because remember, these individuals, they have no problem breaking the law or creating new laws to get what they want. Collins notes that Nadler could compel AG Barr to provide the unredacted report if he launches an impeachment hearing. However, he said that there's no evidence to launch an impeachment hearing because there is no facts that support one. So it looks like there's a problem here. And Nadler is trying to set up Barr to make it look like he's covering for Trump, or he's trying to make him break the law. Representative Doug Collins, he tweeted out the following: Democrats can cite no precedent for their demands for grand jury information from the Mueller report. But there's a solution we should all be able to agree on. The Judiciary Committee should invite the special counsel to testify immediately. Have Mueller come in and have him testify in front of Congress. Let him tell you everything that he did. They don't want this. You know why? Because if Mueller actually testifies, there goes their whole entire narrative. It goes down the tubes. And they know this. This is why they're trying to set Barr up. But it's not going to work. And it looks like Nadler might be in some trouble of his own. Paul Sperry tweeted out the following. Actually, he made a couple of tweets here. Breaking. House Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler made a demonstrably false statement in February 2018 when he asserted Fusion GPS initiated the Steele dossier project on behalf of the conservative Washington Free Beacon, not the DNC. Paul Sperry also said, breaking. The Mueller report and Cohen's recent testimony about Prague show that Democratic Representative Jerry Nadler of House Judiciary made a false statement in February of 2018 when he denied that any aspect of the Steele dossier is false or inaccurate in any way. Breaking. In the wake of the Mueller report, House Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler appears to have committed libel in February 2018 when he claimed the Russian government waged a massive campaign to discredit our election. Carter Page appears to have played a role in that effort. Now, the first part of this year, 2019, this first part was about exoneration. This was about pushing the Mueller report out, showing the American people there was no collusion, there was no obstruction, there was nothing. The second part of 2019, according to John Solomon, and this is from his sources inside the FISA court, the second half of 2019 will be the year of accountability. We will bring a lot of people to justice. Take a listen to what John Solomon said.
From the reporting I've done, that the FISA court is waiting for the IG's findings, the independent review, and that may trigger action at the court, trigger action at the Attorney General's office, certainly inform Senator Lindsey Graham's investigation. I think the second half of 2019 will be a half year of accountability that will bring a lot of people to justice. I have heard from inside the court that there are judges concerned and waiting for the IG report. I think that could be a seminal moment.
So if you go back in time and you look at when Trump first came into office, this was about cleaning out the FBI, the Department of Justice, putting all the players in the right positions, removing blocks, removing the insurance policy, and investigating. This was 2017 and 2018. 2019, we have many of the pieces in place. This is still being worked on. That doesn't mean that every piece is in place yet, because we can see that Trump is already making other changes to DHS and the Secret Service, which we'll be talking about in just a minute. But the second half of this year, it looks like we'll be moving in a different direction. No more putting pieces in the right place. No more waiting for the Mueller report. Everything that's been worked on from 2017, 2018 to the first half of 2019, it looks like most of it's completed, which means we are now moving to the second half of 2019, where those placeholders that Q has given us, they'll start to fill up. And that is coming very soon. Now, we can see that Trump is still making changes within the government departments, DHS, Secret Service. Kirstjen Nielsen, she was pushed out. Looks like Trump fired her, and she left her position. She didn't resign. Trump tweeted out the following: Secretary of Homeland Security Kirstjen Nielsen will be leaving her position. I would like to thank her for her service. I am pleased to announce that Kevin McAleenan, the current U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner, will become acting secretary for at DHS Gov. I have confidence that Kevin will do a great job. Now, Kevin McAleenan is the author of Obama's catch and release program at the U.S. border. Now, once again, Trump is bringing these people closer to him and keeping an eye on these type of individuals and using them for his benefit. Now, what's very interesting about all of this is Hillary Clinton tweeted out the following. Let's be clear, this administration dehumanization and cruelty toward migrants will not stop after Kirstjen Nielsen leaves office. It is their principal policy. Now let's think mirror. What did Clinton do in Libya? What did Bill Clinton do in Libya? How many children were starving? How many children died in that war? And we know what the Clintons do with children. So think mirror when you hear all of this. She's really talking about herself. Now, Trump also directed Mick Mulvaney to fire Secret Service Director Randolph Alice just one day after Kirstjen Nielsen was forced out. Trump named James Murray as the new director of the Secret Service, replacing Alice. So what is Trump doing? Well, he's changing everything around. He's replacing individuals. He's replacing the head of DHS and replacing the head of the Secret Service. Now remember, DHS is a multi-layered matrix of conflicting political interests and career bureaucrats with internal agendas. And we saw Trump reorganize the FBI, fire a lot of people, get rid of a lot of people. And we also saw him do this in the Department of Justice. So right now, Trump is going ahead and he's moving everything around in DHS and the Secret Service. Now, the Secret Service is currently under DHS rule. But if we go back to 2003, the Secret Service used to be part of the Department of Treasury. And it looks like there's something more opaque happening in the background, which most likely we'll find out later. And we'll find out that DHS and the Secret Service needed to be reorganized. People needed to be removed. And there were certain individuals that were blocking certain things from happening. I mean, Trump is down at he was at the southern border. He's continually talking about immigration. He wants the wall built. He wants certain things done. And when people aren't doing it, guess what happens? He moves people around. He removes the blocks. And I'm sure there are certain individuals within these departments that have been blocking them every step of the way. And it was time to clean house, drain the swamp. That's what we're seeing. Now, something very interesting happened. CNN's Chris Cuomo recently went to the border to speak with refugees seeking asylum from these violent Central American countries. But he started to realize something else was going on. Now, they thought when they went down there that all these people saying, oh my God, I'm running for my life. I'm running. I need asylum. Please help me. And what he found out was the complete opposite. Numbers USA tweeted out the following. Kudos to Chris Cuomo for revealing what's driving illegal immigration from Central America are job opportunities in U.S. and asylum loopholes. Very few have legitimate, credible fear claims. This is how reporting is done. Take a listen to what happened when Cuomo was talking to these illegals.
They don't say very much. They only say that they're here because situations are very difficult in their country. But, it's almost as if they were encouraged to come,
Is he here to work or is he here for asylum?
¿Viene usted a trabajar o viene a pedir asilo?
No, yo a lo que me den. Trabajo, me dan asilo, me dan asilo.
He wants to work.
He wants to work, but if he gets asylum, he says he's willing to ask for asylum.
Why did he take his kid with him to come here if it's just to work?
¿Por qué se trajo usted a su hijo si usted viene a trabajar?
Porque si eso está que si uno viene con el menor, a uno le dan permiso. Si no, yo hubiera ido para Honduras. Hubiera estado 3-4 meses preso y hubiera ido para Honduras.
It's what you and I were talking about. He says that if he comes here with his son, then he's allowed to stay.
As you can see, these people weren't running from their lives. They're looking for jobs. They were told to come up here. So wait, everything that Trump was saying is true? I mean, we talked about this going back, before Trump, when we knew that Obama set into motion with a campaign to bring all these individuals up. And they knew if they brought a child, they'd be let into the United States. And they'd be given a job. They'd be bussed off into a sanctuary city. So when you actually go down there and you speak to these individuals and you actually do some type of reporting, you find out the truth. Maybe they should start doing this with everything. Are they? Most likely not. But I think every time they find out something like this, they're shocked. They cannot believe it. And we all knew this. We knew the program was to send the message down to all the Central American countries. You send the people up, we send you a lot of aid. And this way, they can use all these people to manipulate the voting, put people on Obamacare, blend everything together the same way they were doing Europe. This is all part of a centralized plan. And now the truth is coming out for those who want to actually listen to the truth. And Trump was right all along. We see that Allison Mack, she has pled guilty in the Nexium sex cult case. She was a former Smallville actress, and she pled guilty to charges that she manipulated women into becoming sex slaves for the leader of a purported self-help group tied to the Clintons. And we know this was not a self-help group. And we can see this is just the beginning. Because we see Salzman, we see Allison Mack, and Q is continually telling us to watch the news for Rachel Chandler, which most likely will be coming up very, very soon because all these individuals are hitting the news cycle right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see other news come out. Now, we're starting to see countries where the people are starting to take back their country. The deep state, they're being forced out of all of these countries. Look at Syria. Look at Ukraine. There's elections going on there right now. Look what's happening in Libya. Now, what's very interesting is that the New York Times is out there, and they're saying that Libya is entering another civil war, and America can stop it. America should go ahead and try to do something in Libya. No, America should not be doing that. We've already done enough. The deep state has already destroyed these countries and made life in these countries horrible for all of these people. It is time to end all of these endless, ridiculous wars. And what's happening here is that the people want to elect their own leader. They don't want the UN, they don't want the United States to say this is your leader. Let these countries go ahead and actually have the freedom to choose their own leaders. So when we look at all of this, the deep state, everything that they've done, everything that they controlled, has completely fallen apart in 2.5 years or so. I mean, think about this. They were spending years upon years, trillions of dollars, to wage war in all of these countries. Trump has come in and within 2.5 years is stopping the war in Syria, pulling troops out of Libya. Ukraine is electing a new individual, and the prosecutors are saying that they have evidence that Clinton, she colluded with Ukraine to try to manipulate the election here in the United States. I mean, think about what is happening in this short period of time. I know it feels like a long period of time, but it really isn't. I mean, think about it. Think about how much he's accomplished in 2.5 years. I mean, if we go back in time and it says, in 3 years or 3.5 years, the Trump administration came in, stopped all the endless fake wars, and put treasonous individuals in prison, cleaned up the swamp. Does that sound like it took them that long? No, it didn't. I mean, you're watching it real time. So every day that goes by, it feels like a long time. It feels like it's not happening. And a lot of the pieces that are being moved, some of them don't make sense. And then it makes sense a lot later. And this is why Q, from the very, very beginning, said you need to trust the plan. Because certain times, the plan is not going to be what you expected. And this is the problem that people have. They expect things to happen in a certain way. And when they don't, they get disappointed, saying, oh, Trump is not doing it. Oh, Trump, he's dropping the ball. Drop the expectations. You don't know what the plan is. You don't know what pieces have to be moved so another piece can be moved in its place. And then things start to make sense. So drop all expectations, drop your timeline, drop everything. It's all happening the way it's supposed to happen. And we're going to see a lot more happen as time goes on. This is just the beginning. The first part of this year was to show America that there is no collusion, that there was no obstruction, to show that the mainstream media lied to the American people. Certain government officials lied to the American people on purpose, knowingly lied about all of this. This is going to bite them in the end. The second half of this year, and remember, the Mueller report is going to be released by par. And once this is out there, yes, the deep state, they're going to make a really big deal of it. Nadler and all the rest, the mainstream media, they're going to go through it and pick out things, and they're going to try to make something out of nothing. But it'll all die down. And the message will be, there's no collusion, there's no obstruction. This was a hoax. And this is why Trump has been tweeting out, how did this all get started? Can anyone look into this? Now, you know that they've been looking into this. They already have the information. Nobody needs to look into it. He's letting the American people know this is what's coming next. We're going to tell you how this all got started. We're going to tell you who are the players. And you're going to find out the truth. Just like you found out the truth that there was no collusion. There was no obstruction. There was nothing. Now you're going to find out what the Clintons did. What Adam Schiff did. What Comey did. What Brennan did. What Clapper did. What Obama did. And you're going to see evidence. You're going to see videos. You're going to see pictures. You're going to see it all. And this is why Trump is continually tweeting this stuff out, to prepare America. Now, of course, the mainstream media might be picking up his tweets and saying, oh, we know how it got started. It got started this way. Well, basically, he's just setting them up because they're not telling the truth. Because when the truth comes out, once again, it will show the mainstream media lied on how it got started. He's actually boxing the mainstream media into a corner. He's boxing all these individuals into a corner because he has the real documentation. He has the information. They know all of it. They've been investigating, collecting evidence. And all these people that are screaming the loudest, they're the ones who have the most to lose. They're the ones who are panicking. That's why they're screaming the way they are. Yes, the mainstream media and the way they present themselves, it seems like they have control over what they're doing. We're having this investigate. They don't. They're little children saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but they have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. They are stuck and they are panicking and they're grasping at anything they can get their hands on. The clock is ticking down and they're in trouble and they know it. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.